This is Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, and you are listening to the Bob Culture Podcast.
Hello, I'd like to welcome you to paradise, where everyone is riding on a satellite, sending signals, praying for miracles. We should have seen this coming. Hear me out, because I'm only gonna say this one more time. Hear me out, and open your eyes and take a look at all the signs. You think I'm crazy, but I'm not the only one. Call me crazy. I've been thinking maybe we are not alone. Call me crazy. I've been thinking lately it's been the same way all along.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a very special Major Bendies edition of the BCP. Ladies and gentlemen, very excited to welcome in, and you know him from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. You know him as the man who makes and markets the Major Bendies himself. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not worthy. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Mike Kanik. How are you, sir? Welcome in, bro.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Dude, no, thank you so much. We're talking, we have a lot of mutual friends, Creative Pro, Jay George, the whole crew, man. It looks like you guys are having a great time with Broski and, Myers and all that stuff, man. And it was so cool to connect with you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. You sent us some sample figures. We're going to take a look at those in a little bit. I'm a big figure guy. I want to know a little bit about you, bro. Tell us how you got involved with Broski and Myers and working on these figures. It looks like you got a great collection too, bro.
Yeah, lifelong action figure comic book collector. And I had just gotten a job at a company called Eagle Moss, and I was hired to do email marketing and become their brand manager for their WWE collection. And I got lucky. I applied for one job, and I got another two that I didn't apply for that worked out really well for me. One of them being the brand manager for the WWE collection that they had just acquired, and no one there knew anything about wrestling, but the guy that they just hired.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And, I was a fan of the podcast, and the guys are having a promotion on, if you bought a t-shirt from their Pro Wrestling Tee store, they'll give you a call. And I had just bought a shirt after finding out I was going to be the brand manager for the WWE collection. Got a call. I told them, like, really, I got this because of you guys, because I was really doing email marketing for a pharmaceutical company I worked for a Fortune 500 ad agency.
Oh, wow.
And I really just couldn't take that place anymore and quit, because I was listening to the podcast and I was like, I got to be in collectibles. So it was really the guys that they didn't even know who I was at the time. It was really them pushing me to do this. But anyway, I got the phone call, told them what happened, and Broski started following me on Instagram, and we started chatting, and he knew that I could make merchandise because I had connections in China. And I just started making the Major Pod merchandise stuff, from foam fingers, keychains, condoms. We did it all. And it kind of evolved into making wrestling buddies, and from wrestling buddies to Major Bendies. And we keep on going, we keep on innovating, and we're just pushing it forward. Now I own a business with the guys, and my house is just filled with toys.
That's awesome, man. And before we get to the figures, man, and first of all, thank you, because Cardona just on our friend John Alba's podcast, Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Great interview, guys. Go check that out. Matt talks a lot about what he's been up to, and he mentioned, during that downtime, unfortunately after he got released at that time, he was talking like, hey, we need marketing, merchandising, all that stuff. I'm sure you were a key factor in that, man, and you still are to today. So thank you for doing that, man. But I'm looking around the room there, man. I love the setup real quick. I got to ask you, bro, who is your favorite of all time, man? Like, I see all the figures back there. Like, who's your guy? Who's your number one?
My number one guy has to be The Rock. Just love him. Um, I'll do my Mount Rushmore, I guess, right? It's The Rock, Stone Cold.
We got to run in, but go ahead. Finish what you're saying, man. Go ahead.
Brother. What's up? The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, big Shawn Michaels guy. I dressed up as Shawn Michaels for Halloween. From Jersey, so I went to a. He was doing an autograph signing, I think, like around 1996 and 97 at a car dealership. I waited, I think, 8 hours to meet him.
Are you 8 hours? Wow.
Hell
Yeah,
I love it.
me and my brothers.
Sorry.
My brothers and I, it was insane. And now it's funny because like I could just go to WrestleCon and
Yeah. You know everybody, man.
I know, so I don't really have to wait online anymore. But
That's so cool. And real quick, we got to shout out the goodest brother, co-host of the most. Come on in here. Welcome and grab your microphone, bro. We wanted Nunes to be involved, co-host, but he's a big fan. You see, he's got the major Bendies. Johnny Gargano is his guy, man. So you want to show off, hold it up to the camera, see what you got. Now, Mike makes these and markets these, and Johnny signed all of them, right, bro?
Yeah, he signed all of them. I got all the variations. So I got the Carnage, I got the Punisher, and then when he did a meet and greet back in November, it was the exclusive Spider-Man Venom.
Yep, that was at Pandora Collectibles.
Yeah, Pandora, man. It was so cool. Thank you so much for that.
Great job, man. And I got to ask you this. We did talk to Johnny down in Baltimore a little bit before he re-signed with WWE. And one of the first things we asked him is like, hey, man, we want more Johnny figures. Like, what figure would you want? He kind of hinted at some stuff. And not too long after, these were announced, man. What was it like working with Gargano and getting these produced?
Gargano is possibly one of the greatest people to work with because he's a figure collector. He's a comic book collector. He's a collector. So he gets the aspect of what we're doing. So, when we first approached him, we knew it had to be something cool and comic book like because that's him, right? So I'm a big Spider-Man fan myself. So I quickly went for the Carnage.
Yeah.
And I think TTD is our designer. He does an incredible job. Everything is really, he's the backbone. The packaging, the figure design and everything, it's all him. And he even says that that's one of his favorite figures to date. And we've done over 40 so far. So
it's all fantastic. The packaging
great.
is great. Like as soon as I got these in the mail, I was like, because Johnny's my guy, obviously, but like just looking at everything, I'm like the packaging, the card that it comes with, the figure itself. I'm just like it's really, really cool.
And whose idea was it to put the card? I love that it comes with the card.
Yes, I love that.
That was my idea. And I remember getting shit for it from Broski. And I think
really?
But Broski will probably deny it to this day. But because it was a good idea. I didn't want people to cut the packaging. I thought the packaging that TTD did was so great. And it's art. And that's why everything's also resealable. You can take it out, put it back into the packaging if you want, so you can be a loose and mock collector at any point during your collecting time. But I didn't want people to cut the card out of the packaging, and I said it's just added value to what we're selling. And I think Brian agreed with me, and then that's how it ended.
There it goes. That's
There you go.
right.
At least you got one of them. So
There you go.
Yeah, because Brian's a card guy. I feel like that's how it went down. I just remember Broski telling me it's not needed, and I go, no, it's needed. And I think that's like one of the most talked about things now, the card.
it really is, and you got the signature on the back too. Like I think that's so cool.
It's very cool. Yeah, it's a great idea. Great job all around. And I love on the box it says not a toy too. Like we're not taking anything
Yeah.
out of package, man. That's good. The respect for the figures and all that stuff. But let's get to it, man. Without further ado, could you hand me that box right there, Nunes?
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you, sir. All right, and thank you, Mike, again for sending these. So
Yeah,
we're looking at
thank
some of
you.
these newer figures that you put out, man.
Let's go.
Let's take a look. Everything very nicely packaged here. Let's see what we got, man. And I feel like I should put on like the white gloves, like Shane.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. Again, you see the cards displayed at the top here. I'm seeing a little Effie action right here.
Okay.
Nunes, I'll give you the cards.
All right. Ooh.
And I'm going to hold this up so the camera can see. Big deal right there. Effie figure. Tell us what it was like working with Effie. Very popular guy, GCW Independence.
Effie was great. He was so. All the GCW guys are so nice. But Effie was so great and grateful that we were making a figure of him. He gave me a story about how he was speaking to a company about making a figure. I forgot. I don't know the full story. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but they didn't want to do it because he's gay and and how he dresses and how he looks and stuff. And he went around him and made it himself, and it sold out.
Good on him.
And I laughed and I was like, you know what? I think your figure's gonna do great for us anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
it
Of
looks
course.
awesome.
He's
It's
so
like-
popular.
He's got the jacket. Nobody rocks fishnets like he does. So
yeah, I'm like, it's 2023. No one gives a fuck about what you do anymore. Like, and I want all the misfits really in our collection, right?
Just showing everybody.
Because
That looks great.
we-
Yeah, please.
We made the first Effie figure. We made the first Danhausen figure.
oh wow.
We made, who else is the first Conrad figure, first Nick Gage. These are people
Big
that
names.
people didn't want to invest in, and I said, no, people like these people. This is wrestling now.
Yeah.
You have to accept that. So I call them misfits, but they're not really misfits. They're just people.
I get what
But-
you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
It was like ECW. They would say the island of misfit toys, but none of them were misfits.
Yeah.
They just weren't used
Yeah.
properly.
Exactly. And you know what? Danhausen's one of our top selling guys now.
Very nice,
Um,
very evil.
He was on the cover of New York Times now.
That's amazing.
And AEW top merch selling guy for Pro Wrestling Tees. But at the time when we signed him, he was doing okay, but really there was no one really backing him in merchandise. He was doing everything on his own.
Which is
it
crazy to
still
think
is.
about.
Yeah. And the same thing for Nick Gage. Nick Gage, he has the GCW merch, but there wasn't anything else. I know Broski pushed for a micro bowler for him. And that's how that came to be. But yeah, I mean, if you want a Nick Gage figure, the only place really to go is Major Bendies.
Yeah.
And then
And the
speaking
same
of
thing
Nick
for
Gage,
Effie.
What a segue right here.
you know the deal.
Oh man.
Oh,
all
with
day.
the blood. Let's
With
go.
the blood. Look at and the pizza
Yeah.
cutter. Look at
Murder,
that.
death,
Nice.
kill all day.
I'll show you the back.
Fun
real-
fact, I'm the guy that makes the MDK pizza cutters for GCW.
That's it. You're the guy. Hold up
I'm the guy who makes those too.
And now was Mr. Gage very appreciative of you guys being the first ones to put out the figure, man?
He's a very intimidating man, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because of everything you say and hear about him. So my
He's
first
also very
experience with him,
real.
I was like, yes. So my first interaction with him, I was like, kind of like terrified because I was unsure of what I was gonna get. He was like the nicest man in the world. Cursed a lot, but he gave me a hug and he said how grateful he was for a figure being made, and he said it was an honor to be part of Major Bendies.
That's amazing.
Nicest guy in the world. Very, very nice. And so I actually collect all the figures, my own figures, because I'm a mark for myself. And I get them all signed by the guys that I work with.
Awesome.
And I, despite me paying them a large sum of royalties, I still get scared asking them, "Do you mind signing something for me?" And I asked Nick Gage, and he said, "Anything for you, bro, anything."
Aw.
And he just like laid them out and just like signing. He signed more than he should have.
That's so
But
cool.
yeah, he was just such a sweetheart.
That's what it's all about, man. That's
Yeah, it
gotta
really
be so
is.
rewarding for you personally, man, to get, because I know a lot of guys
Yeah.
that we talk to, whether they're Hall of Famers, whether they're, currently in a national product or indie people, like a lot of like they even talked about it on the Extreme Left of Matt Hardy with Cardona, getting the action figure or being in the video game, like that was like the goal. Like that's such a big thing, man. And we thank you for doing that, man, for a
Yeah.
lot of people. Now you said you were Danhausen's first figure, correct?
Yes.
I
Yep.
believe.
So we did.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
His first figure is technically the Series 2 that is in my hand right here. But we had a
Awesome.
delayment in shipment on these when this happened. And Pandora's exclusive got shipped to them first.
Oh wow.
And this is the black and white Danhausen. That was an exclusive to Pandora. And we only made 150 of these. I think Pandora sold out. We might have maybe like 5 left. But these are going for like a good chunk of money on eBay right now.
I
was-
bet. Danhausen's so popular. Smart move by you guys, man. When
Yeah.
he was like on the independents, I'm like, whoever signs this guy, man, it's money, man. And like you said, he was the top merch seller also for AEW right now.
I was saying that when I went to the Johnny meet and greet in Pandora's when they announced the Spider-Man Venom variant. I was like, first of all, I wanted to meet my guy, but I was like, that's pretty cool too that you get an exclusive figure that you can't get anywhere else. I was like, whoever's there and gets that figure is very lucky, and who knows how much that's going to go for now.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't seen too many on eBay. Like
Yeah,
the black and white one, the black and white Danhausen is one of the top reselling Major Bendies, I think. We have the Ric Flair that's also up there in price because he signed 750 of them.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But yeah, I think we also have another Danhausen that goes up for a pretty penny. It was a High Spots exclusive. I think that's going for like around $200 or $300 as well on eBay.
That's awesome, man. And that's got to be validating for you to say, like, hey, I'm doing this for all these guys, man. Even like we mentioned Johnny earlier, we're like, because he's a guy, like you said, you're a big comic books guy. His gear, even last night with the Bluey gear, like he's a guy who keeps coming out with stuff. Like you want the figures as a fan, you want the figures as grown men. We want to get the figures, man. That's got to be super cool for you, bro.
I'm very glad that you guys did the Punisher variant because I feel like that gear was most of his Marvel gear can be made into a figure, but I'm so glad that the Punisher got a shout out. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, the Punisher one, I was worried about because I was like, we're sticking to this because we had already planned the Venom beforehand. I was like, it's kind of going away from our Spider-Man themed, but Punisher
gotcha.
really does work out with his look and his brand, I guess to say, right? Because he has the face.
Yeah.
It works really well. And then TDE did the packaging, and I love the packaging on the Punisher one. If you look at it, it has
Yes.
bullet holes that go through.
Love it, man.
Yeah, and then the black, and then you got the Johnny takeover in the back.
Yep.
Oh, it looks so cool.
Yeah, so that was a wrestling collector shop exclusive.
So cool, man. And real quick, I mean, we'll get the plugs in at the end, Mike, and thank you again for making the time. Tell everyone where they can go and get some of these. I know a lot of these are still available. You got some new stuff on deck, man. Tell everyone where they can go right now.
Yeah, so we have Series 3 still available on our site. Series 3 is FE. I have to look. Hold on. I was about to say something I shouldn't
Yeah,
say.
yeah. You got to check if you're allowed. You got to check with the head honchos. I understand.
It's Gangrel, Chelsea, Effie and Cole Cabana, and there's a chase variant for Gangrel that's bloody.
Okay, the
So
bloodbath. I
that's
like
cool.
it.
And then there's actually a exclusive Chelsea at wrestlingcollectorshop.com. But you can find everything at majorpodmerch.com, and we still have a few Danhausen's left and a few Jeff Jarrett's. Jeff Jarrett is a big one for us as well. We did two Jeff Jarrett's, a 95 and 99 look. I call it the both looks. He walked out on Vince. And it's the first time in a long time we got a Jeff Jarrett figure. And it's the only Jeff Jarrett figure that says "Don't piss me off."
Yeah, most of them I guess wouldn't do.
Oh yeah, because I remember back in the day I had a Jeff Jarrett figure, and I think it said it either had the stars on it to bleep it, or it said "Don't tick me off." I think it said.
I think it said "Don't tick me off" or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
It
that's pretty cool.
It didn't even recognize the piss. But yeah, we're the first ones to do that. And Jeff Jarrett is just also one of the greatest humans in the world. Everyone that I've worked with, I think so far has just been a delight. Like I haven't had any issues, thank God, so far.
That's so cool to hear, man.
That's awesome, man. And I got to put this out here before I forget. Recently, what was it? Like 2 weeks ago, we talked to Steve Macklin. He's obviously doing great things over in Impact right now. We said, hey, bro, like we're hearing some rumors, some Impact figures coming out, but like we want the Steve Macklin Funko, we want the Steve Macklin figures. And the first thing he said, he's like, I got to talk to Cardona about that, man. So just putting it out there, man. I feel like what we have,
Let's manifest it.
But seriously, like, what does it mean to you, like when guys like say that and they recognize you and what you do, man? Because like, again, we mentioned earlier, like that is such a milestone for people in their careers, man. Like, what does that mean to you when we're talking to a guy like Macklin? He's like, yeah, I got to talk to Cardona and his people.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know him, and he's a very nice guy. We've
Great.
Sat down a few times. He's come to a live show. We've met at WrestleCon. But yeah, I know him obviously through Matt, and very nice guy. You know, we don't announce who we sign. We try to keep everything hush hush until it's ready to be shipped.
Fair enough.
Because there's just too many other, and it's not even just independent wrestling toy companies. We're in a bubble right now of wrestling figures being made by multiple companies.
Yeah.
And everyone just promotes artwork or announcements. They don't even get far to the drawings. And that's their way of doing business, and that's fine. That's if it works for them, it works for them. We're gonna just do it a different way, and we're gonna produce the product and then say, "Hey, here we go. This is now available. It's on hand. Place the order now. It'll ship not next day probably because I still have a 9 to 5 job and I'm doing all this stuff and I'm doing major pod. I'm doing much for a bunch of other wrestlers now. But it's it'll get to them within the week. So that's how we want to do business, and that's how we handle it. Not saying we don't do pre-orders. We'll do a pre-order for special occasions, like we just signed Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Ooh,
Nice.
So we announced that it will be an open pre-order. So you can pre-order for 2 weeks, and then whatever orders we get, that's what gets made. And you know, I got these made fairly quickly. So it takes about anywhere between 3 to 6 months. I think I can get Hacksaw done in 4 or 5.
It's awesome.
And that's when it'll ship, and that's it, right? Like I don't have to I think we're a little bit more upfront and have a reputation now as a toy brand that you don't have to worry about us, right? Like you're gonna get your product. So there might be a hiccup somewhere in the time frame, but you're gonna get your item. And really, we've only had one hiccup, which was Tyrus. We did an open pre-order with him, and what happened was I have the Tyrus figure right here.
Oh, there he is.
So if you look, I'll put him next
Somebody
to Ricky
calls
Morton.
mama.
Ricky Morton is another person that is. We'll start shipping him in April, I believe.
That's awesome.
So he's not out. He's not out yet. But if you look, Ricky Morton's standard size figure, Tyrus is bigger.
Yeah. Very cool.
The factory had made Tyrus as a standard size figure, and I wanted him to be bigger because he is
Oh, okay.
a big guy.
Gotcha.
So there was like a month delay because they had to revise the molds and stuff. And that was the only hiccup, and we had some issues with some customers who just didn't understand why there was a delay in the whole.
I got you, but
system.
it sounds like you're a perfectionist, man. You really pour your heart and soul into this product, man. It's good, and that's why it looks so great. Like again, I love that there's a cards. I love that there's a signature, man. Everything looks great. Real quick, let's show boom boom. What we got the last one, Noons. What do we got over here?
You got Mr. Colt Cabana.
Awesome
Colt
work with
Cabana.
Colt. Yeah, doing great things. What was it like working with Mr. Cabana?
I love him. I was a big fan of the art of wrestling.
Yeah.
So working with Colt Cabana was a bucket list item. I always said Colt Cabana probably the art of wrestling taught me more about real life and work than I did in 4 years of college. Because
Yeah.
just like listening to I always say you can learn more from hearing people's mistakes than you can from a textbook. And that was the art of wrestling. You got to hear all these people's mistakes. Did a lot of them was relevant to your life? No, a lot of it wasn't. But there are certain things that you could pick up on that will teach you. And I think the main aspect you got from art of wrestling was work hard. Work hard. Don't take time off. Just continue doing the hard work, and you'll get to where you want to go. And I took that very seriously. That wrestling method of work into my 9 to 5 job, and my career skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Like I was the only one who was willing to come in at 8 and leave at 8. Like I was putting 12 hours in, not kayfabing the whole thing. I could have been upset, pissed off. I sold it like if it was no problem. Just kept on doing it, and it ended up paying off. And obviously, I left marketing agencies. Now I make half-naked men toys. But
you're killing it, bro.
I
It's so
respect
cool
the
to see.
hustle, man.
Yeah.
I respect it.
It's awesome, man. And I want to be respectful of your time, man. But just a couple quick questions, man. Got to get your stuff in right, dude. First of all, saw all y'all went to Disney World. That looked amazing. How was it like going with Jay George, the boys? I think maybe Leo was down there. Broski, how was that?
Yeah, so Leo stayed in the house. He didn't get to go to Disney with us, but Jay George was there. Who was it? It was TTD, our artist. Swoggle, Smartmark's brother Tim Sterling, who helps out a lot with the podcast. D Freedom, who's our social guy. Brian, Matt, myself. Who else? I feel like I'm forgetting someone, but we all went. We stayed at this stick Airbnb that Broski got us.
Nice.
Each room was themed to be a different Disney attraction.
Cool.
So Joe Shoes, who's the FWF Tag Team Champion, he also went with us to Disney, and he was my roommate in the house because I'm a deep sleeper and he snores a lot, and I'm the only one who could handle
There you
it.
go, yin and yang.
Yeah, so I had no problems rooming with him. But it was crazy. We had the Frozen room. Broski stayed in Bell's. Um, Brian had the 101 Dalmatian room.
That's so cool.
Uh, the Sterling brothers had uh, what's that Colombian movie?
Um,
Encanto?
Encanto,
I was in Encanto. I haven't
right?
seen that one yet. Okay.
Very
Yeah.
good.
So they had the Encanto room. Um, and then we did the live show. The next day we went to Disney. It was incredible. It was just nine rides. We ate at two different places, well, maybe even three if you count sitting at a stand for a little bit. And four parks, all within 8 hours.
Wow.
Because
That's
the
great.
VIP, yeah, the VIP guy just like boom, 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 boom. This is where you want to go. We could take you there, and it was incredible. It's once in a lifetime opportunity.
To ask you this one, Shameless Pro. We got to talk about
Yeah,
Creative Pro tonight going
yeah,
on. We'll get this out before then for sure. Shameless promo. I think Birds of the Sun, Leo, GKM, Caw. They're going to be in action tonight. We got a call for our boys. I think Mr. Meyer's going to be there. He's going to be there, man. Little Shameless promo.
yeah,
Tell us about the show tonight.
yeah. Creative Pro, Lynbrook, New York. Knights of Columbus. Spell time I think is 5 o'clock. So it's just gonna be a fun time. Just check out pro wrestling at its finest. I mean, no one does it better than Cap, I think.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
lot of great products coming out of there, man.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
sure. I love that Creative Pro family. I love everyone that comes out of there, man. It's great.
yeah. I mean, if you like AEW,
Yep.
you got to check out Cap.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Very, very fair statement. Very well said. And before we get out of here, got to ask you this, man. My girlfriend, the Vicious One, got a star alongside Cardona in the last match musical. I know Brian. He was giving Broski kind of a hard time about that. I think he knocked it out of the park
was-
as Alexander
Yeah.
Swagger
Fantastic.
stole the show, man. Great.
He's awesome.
What did you think?
I saw it twice. Once I went with a friend of mine who's a actress. She's she's done a few roles in some movies, and that was a very chill time for me because I could just sit down and watch it for the
Yeah.
first time, enjoy it. Chelsea was there sitting next to us. It was very good. Loved the whole thing. And I said, I have to go see it a second time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
I
I
like-
did. I went twice. Yeah.
I saw it a second time. I went with my other friend who's a Broadway actress. She was in several Broadway shows, Mamma Mia and Bye Bye Birdie with John
Oh, wow.
Stamos. And so I was like, I need to hear her opinion on this. So I went with her, and we ended up meeting up with Brian, and Brian just cracking jokes and everything, and it was funny. But then the show kind of started, and then Brian just like turns to me and goes, "Yo, Broski's not like in this for 5 minutes. He's in this for like the whole time." I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's like laughing. He goes, "This is actually fucking good. This sucks," because he wanted to make fun of him more. No, but so Brian enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think I don't know. I think there might be some last match musical major Bendies coming in the future. I don't know.
Oh, don't tell me that, man.
Ooh.
Oh, that Alexander Swagger, he stung my girlfriend, man. I don't know how I feel about that, but I might have to pick up the figure. I'm not gonna lie. If that comes out, man, if there's a swagger or card, man, I might have to pick that up.
And I will say that crowd. I took my girlfriend the first showing I went to. That crowd was something else. Like I've been to a bunch of indie shows. I've been to WWE. I've been to AEW. That crowd was very electric.
Yeah, and it's such a weird mixture because
Yes, yeah,
it's you got the wrestling fans, and then you got the the Broadway fans, right?
Exactly. You got like the theater kids and the wrestling fans. Yeah. So it's like it's a cool,
perfect.
unique mix. Yeah.
Yeah. So like actually the second time I went, my friend who's in on Broadway, she was getting noticed by like all these other theater kids, and I'm getting noticed by like all the wrestling fan
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, man.
And so like you could have like it was like a black and white cookie, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like it's a cookie, everyone's enjoying it, but everyone has a different flavor.
Exactly.
So it's
yeah.
like so like one way it's like all the theater kids talking to her, and another way it's like all the wrestling kids talking to me. And it was funny, and she just like looked at me and she's like, because she's so used to the attention, and she just looked at me and she goes, "Why is everyone talking to you?"
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got some pull around here
Yeah,
too.
come on, man.
Yeah,
You're a
I'm
figure
like,
guy. Show him some respect.
I'm kind of well known in this area now.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think they like the beard too.
That's what it is.
It's the beard, and my constant drinking PBRs. You know,
That's
I'm very entertaining. Actually, I just saw this.
Please.
I did the last match trading.
I got
card.
mine, man.
Yes, I have mine too. I have it at the house. It's so cool, man.
But,
Exclusive.
yeah.
Very cool. Well, I heard a little tease about some figures. We'll see how that plays out. I hear a lot of big things maybe in the works for Last Match Musical. We'll keep our eye on that.
Keeping it fingers crossed.
Mr. Kanik, dude, thank you so much for taking the time, man.
Yeah,
thank you for
brother.
sending the figures. We appreciate it. Tell everyone where they can follow you, get the figures, support you guys, support the Major Wrestling
Yep.
Figure Podcast, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so you can follow me personally on Instagram and Twitter, Kanik89, Kanik 89. MajorPodMerch.com if you want to buy some Major Bendies. We do have exclusive Major Bendies that dropped this week at ProWrestlingTees.com. It is Mets inspired
Oh, that's
Brian
cool.
Myers.
Nice.
The packaging is all Queens based. It is fucking incredible. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites. It has Brian's daughter's names tattooed
Aw,
on the figure.
That's cool.
Which is the first time we did that. And then we have Ghostbusters inspired Matt Cardona.
I'm pre-ordering it.
Oh,
It's happening right now. Yeah, dude, I got my Ghostbusters mug right here. Like, come on, dude. I'm in.
He's got the firehouse
So-
over there too.
Awesome.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have a Ghostbusters setup as well.
My dude.
But yeah, exclusive. I know they're selling out quickly at ProWrestlingTees.com, so pick up yours. I think I saw a text message from Ryan saying that there's like a few left, close to like 40
Ooh,
or
I'm gonna get on that right now. That's awesome, dude. Mike, dude, thank you so much for making
Yeah,
the time.
thank you, brother.
Thanks for
Appreciate
we
you.
really appreciate
Thank
you.
you,
man. And
guys.
we'll be sharing this all over the place. I'll do
Yes.
a little write up as well for you. Thanks for making the time. Continued
Cool.
success to all you guys. Hope to see you in action soon. Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah. And guys, like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace.